We are now continuing with the Friday mailbag that we announced we were having at the start of the show and the reasons for it. And we are at the part of our show where we're going to no longer have video questions. We hope to have a lot more of those. It's a feature that we just now implemented, but here are some text questions. These are what we've been doing on the after show for a long time. This is from Stephen P.W. Quote, with all the Washington, D.C. grifters resist and outrage directed at the reworking and efficiencies this administration is attempting to bring to a bloated bureaucratic federal agency, be dragged out enough to stifle any true and substantive reform at all. It's, I think, something that is hard to say. You know, I was thinking today about the fact that I remember in the 80s when Ronald Reagan ran, he ran on a platform of abolishing 3 major cabinet positions, including the Department of Education, I believe, the Department of Health and Human Services, and maybe the Department of Interior. I'll check on those last 2. It doesn't really matter for this point. I want to make clear I don't remember for sure, but definitely the Department of Education. Reagan was an incredibly unpopular president. He won in 1984 with a massive landslide. He campaigned on it, people voted for it, and he just never did it, because the institutional inertia in Washington was too great to effectuate changes that radical. And I think one of the things that Democrats are looking at and feeling almost jealous about and resentful toward is that their own leaders have often run on platforms, and when they get into office, they make all kinds of excuses why those things are impossible to do. The reality is that we're not supposed to have parts of our government that operate unto themselves, free of democratic accountability. Like USAID saying, how dare you, White House that got elected, come in, interfere in our operations and try and find out what we're doing. We have the right to exist separately. Why? The government funds you. And so I think one of the things that Elon Musk is doing, I think one of the things that a lot of people who helped prepare Donald Trump for what would happen if he won, and you've got to give those people credit independent of the merits. They were not playing around. They were extremely serious about doing the things they said they were going to do. They had plans for it. They had executive orders written. They had all kinds of powers that their lawyers told them they could exercise. They're not playing around, which is what you would want in a president who campaigns on dismantling a massive institution of the deep state and the administrative state. You don't want them making a few symbolic gestures toward it and then just letting it stand as is. This is, I think, something that is commendable independent of your views of these agencies, because Donald Trump ran on a platform of doing this. The people of the United States democratically ratify it, and now he's going about doing it. Now, these agencies are not going away lightly. This is now the third question where we're talking about the kind of instinct and incentive of establishment institutions. They don't just give up lightly because somebody's at their gate knocking on the door or even going in. This is a staple of American imperialistic foreign policy since the end of World War II. You think these people, these military industrial complex people, are just going to give all this up lightly? But right now, Donald Trump and Elon Musk and his team are steamrolling over opposition. The Democrats are still completely befuddled by what happened in the 2024 election, even more so by what they stand for. Nobody cares about the corporate media anymore, so they're not a bulwark to anything, and every day they just keep rolling over these agencies. Now, I don't want to be too rosy-eyed about it. We'll see what ends up replacing them. We'll see what people who are doing this actually intend with these agencies. But these agencies, USAID and others like them, have been these behemoths that have run our country and run our foreign policy and run much of the world, and they are completely impervious to democratic elections. Nobody has any idea what they're doing. They purposely keep it that way. They're sinister. They interfere in other countries. Other countries hate them. They've kicked them out. They've expelled them. They have a massive budget, and they do what they want with it. And so to watch them being targeted and to watch all of this transparency, selective though it may be, emerging, I've always believed that this was the value of Donald Trump. no matter all my disagreements with various policy positions of his. We played you this video before where Seymour Hersh, the legendary journalist, said that, who's always been associated with the left, has said that you can vote Democrat, you can vote Republican for decades, and the foreign policy establishment continues as is. Nothing can ever change. And it's disastrous and corrupted. Donald Trump, he said, is the only one with the capacity to be what he called a circuit breaker. And my former Intercept colleague Jeremy Scahill, who's clearly on the left, went on Breaking News and said that. He doubted that. And I think that's exactly right. I think Donald Trump is a circuit breaker. And circuit breakers are a blunt instrument. They just turn off all the lights off. But sometimes when the system is flowing and nobody can stop it because it's too big and has been going on for too long and it's creating too many destructive results and results that we don't even know, you need a circuit breaker. You need to break it and then say, okay, what is this? What has it been? And how do we rebuild it? And I'm not saying there are no dangers from it. I'm not saying there are no valid questions about Elon Musk's role or the role of people he's hiring to do these things, but I don't think you can deny that having people rampage through these unaccountable industrial, administrative state and deep state agencies in Washington is so long overdue, and I'm thrilled to see it. All right, we have one more question, I think maybe two. This is from Charleed747. Glenn, regarding USAID, we simply can't overthrow existing foreign governments, fund the creation of COVID or some other MSM Politico with US Treasury dollars without it. Will it really go away or simply be morphed into some other sinister agency? Well, let me just say that USAID was created in 1961, and when I had Mike Bentz on the show, he explained in, I think, a very cohesive and accurate way. The reason they needed a USAID, they already had a CIA, they already had a State Department. Why do you need a USAID to carry out the same foreign policies? It's because the CIA and the State Department can't go into places and say, hi, I'm from the US government, I'm from the State Department, I'm an arm of the CIA, and I'm here to involve myself in your internal activities. USAID was a way of pretending, oh no, we're not the CIA, we're not the State Department, we're just here to help. We want to fund your nice programs, we want to get involved in your civic society, we want to help people. And the reality is that that was the goal. The US government did not fund USAID in these massive numbers to go around helping people because we're really nice and we were concerned for people. Sometimes they did end up helping people. Because one way to get soft power in a country is by going in and saying, oh, look, we're saving your babies. Don't you love us instead of China? Massive amounts of this budget, though, were about subverting elections, overthrowing elections, manipulating the outcome of elections to get the leaders that we wanted, sowing discord, division, trying to transform other societies into ours and our vision of left-wing culture war ideology because we thought that that would make these countries more amenable to ours. Just a completely unnecessary part of the federal government, very, very sinister, creates a lot of anti-American rage, even though it's called USAID. And who could be against an aid agency that just wants to help? And finally, that narrative is being destroyed because transparency is what brings the truth to everything. In times like these, uncertainty is the only certainty. From geopolitical risks, like the ones we've seen in Israel and Ukraine, both of which risk destabilizing global markets, to the Fed's nonstop money printing, it's hard to feel secure about your financial future. Since 2020, the US dollar has lost 24% of its buying power, and with inflation rising and government debt ballooning, your hard-earned savings are at risk. That's why I trust Lear Capital to help me understand the benefits of gold and silver, physical assets that hold their value in turbulent times. Lear has educated me on how one can go about the best way, diversifying into gold. That would give one who does that control over their financial security. With their helpful guides, you can understand how to take possession of various high-value metals, store them safely, or roll over your IRA or 401k, tax and penalty free. It's easy to get started. Call Lear Capital today at 800-920-8388 or visit leargreenwald.com for your free wealth protection guide. They've got loads of reports to help you understand the current political and economic landscape, and I really recommend it. Here's a special offer for my viewers. Get a $500 credit toward delivery, storage, or IRA fees with your qualifying purchase. Learn how you can protect your future. Call Lear today at 800-920-8388. That's 800-920-8388, or go to leargreenwald.com. Thanks for watching this clip from System Update, our live show that airs every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Rumble. You can catch the full nightly shows live or view the backlog of episodes for free on our Rumble page. You can also find full episodes the morning after they air across all major podcasting platforms, including Spotify and Apple. All the information you need is linked below. We hope to see you there.